we've touched on this conversation throughout our podcast run, but this season. But who's you guys' thoughts on, who should win the Big 12 men's and women's player of the year?
For the men, I'm going to go with Agbaji from Kansas. He's averaging 20 points, leads a Big 12 in 3-point shooting. I think Izaiah Brockington from Iowa State would be in the conversation. Bryson Williams. Really, those are probably about the three who would be considered, I think. But I think Agbaji probably being on the Big 12 winning team, I'd probably go with him.
On the women's side, preseason player of the year, NaLyssa Smith, in the last several weeks that's been no doubt. Like Saturday watching her, she's able to elevate and take jump shots over the defense. They can't stop her, because if she gets the ball in space, like 15 feet from the basket, there's like 3 ways she can score there that there aren't very many people in the country that can defend her. And she's taking full advantage of it. She's rebounding. To me, her leadership has been good. And so I think that, she's going to be player of the year, probably run away with it. Now, Ayoka Lee has done some amazing things, but, you're sitting there right now in Kansas State's 14-12, 6-8. No, wait, I'm looking at the men's standings. Anyway, Kansas State hadn't made quite the run that they maybe would have needed to make for Ayoka Lee, although maybe the voting will be tight there. I would suspect maybe in the conference, the voting is going to be tight there. Now, I'll say something maybe a little controversial here. When it comes to the conference coaches voting for it, you're not going to have the problem of people voting against Kim.
That's a good point. She always had a lot of opinions about the all-conference team. That said,
it was definitely show business and not show friends for Kim.
Well, and I will say, I feel like Baylor was well represented over the years.
Oh, for sure.
On all those all-conference teams.
Now, one point on the men's, I think that actually Brice, now there's going to be a whole lot of candidates for this, but I think the more interesting discussion would be newcomer of the year in the Big 12 because of all the impact of the transfer portal.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's a good point. I'd have to really research that to figure out.
I think Bryson Williams, Timmy Allen, Brockington's a newcomer, right?
Yeah.
That'll be a good
some
ballot.
Really good one. Real big, impactful ones.
Yeah. No doubt. When Ayoka Lee had her 61-point game, that's what it was, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I would have bet the farm that she was going to be Big 12 player of the year. Because at the time, I want to say that was around the time that maybe the Baylor women were not playing quite as well.
They were coming out of their tailspin, I believe, but yeah.
But Kansas State was kind of a little bit more of a surprise team on the way up. And, and Lee's numbers were off the charts, but I do agree with you, Chad, that in recent weeks, NaLyssa has, she's run away with it.
Right. And I want to correct their record. They're 18-8, 8-6 in the Big 12.
Yeah, they've had a solid year.
And very much headed towards the NCAA tournament. And I think it probably happened a lot where somebody is kind of the player of the moment. And then when it all shakes out, Kansas State the other night, Ayoka Lee had 18 points and 13 boards, and Kansas State lost by 2, at Kansas. And so that's a great game. 18 points and 13 rebounds is, fantastic. But I think if they were maybe a spot or two higher in the standings, Ayoka Lee might have a lot better shot at it.
Well, the other thing about her is I think that she's very dependent on someone getting her the ball down in the post, whereas NaLyssa is a big, a front court player who can face you up, can can handle the ball, can do a lot of different things. And so I just feel like, hey, she's got a more versatile game than Lee does. Not that that's what it always comes down to, but
well, Ayoka Lee's whole thing is based on touch around the basket.
mhm.
You know, she's been great, but I mean, when Queen Egbo is displaying that kind of touch around the basket, she's just as good. But you know, Ayoka Lee doesn't have a NaLyssa Smith playing with her in the front court.
True enough.